I'm just trying to ask, who do we feel belongs in that pool? Right now, it seems like it's a short one. Depending on who you ask, it's a three-man race between Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan, his airness. But here's where the conversation really started for me. Steven Jackson was on Shaquille O'Neal's podcast, The Big Podcast, with Adam Lefkoe. Also, Matt Barnes was a guest on the show as well. He believes that his former teammate, Tim Duncan, belongs in that conversation.
You've been saying a lot lately in the greatest of all time, Kobe deserves more conversation. Absolutely. I was curious, when you hear the greatest of all times, does it ever get you upset when Tim Duncan's not mentioned at all?
Yeah, because he's definitely in mine. I mean, how could he not be? I mean, you just look at the body of work and what he's done as a power forward. I mean, he should be in the top 5 or best of all time.
So without question, at least for me, Tim Duncan's certainly one of the greatest power forwards of all time. I don't believe that he belongs in the GOAT discussion. I think you can make an argument, where does he fall in the top 10? Because of this, in an era after 99, when he wins in that strike-shortened year, defeats the Knicks, who came in as an 8 seed that year. In a era that was dominated by the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, then you had Kobe make the run on his own, and he won 2 NBA Finals. And then the torch is to be passed to LeBron James. Tim Duncan won 5 NBA championships during that span. And I don't know if we really give that guy his just due when it comes to, look, you had the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. You had the Kobe run there in 2009, 2010, where unquestionably he's the best player in the NBA. We could argue maybe from 2003 up until 2010, 2000, just that decade. And that 2010 span, you could say for 7 years, maybe, Kobe was the best player in the league. Then you have LeBron James come in, goes to the finals in 2007. Tim Duncan meets LeBron James in the finals 3 different times and could have said, I beat LeBron James 3 times if I don't know. Greg Popovich, you leave Tim Duncan in to get a rebound. Gosh, that pisses me off still to this day. Not even a Spurs fan. However, beats the guy who's supposed to be the guy and the face of the NBA on 2 separate occasions. And although there are some that say in 2007, LeBron James was a neophyte, so we really don't count that. Well, I do. Defeated Kobe and Shaq in 2003, which everybody says you weren't stopping Duncan that year. You had Derek Fisher on the bench crying when San Antonio Spurs were fixing to eliminate my Lakers. But there's another guy in which it seems people are asking whether or not he belongs in the debate. This is Jeff Teague on his podcast, and he's asking, does Steph Curry belong in this debate?
If he get another ring, it's Steph's top 5.
Yeah, in the top 5.
He's best point guard ever.
Mm-hmm. Top 5 player all time.
With 5 rings,
he gonna be in that mix if he get another ring.
He get another ring.
I just don't see too many people better than him. He in my top 5.
He get another ring, he definitely up there with Kobe now.
Top 5 guy of all time. Certainly the greatest shooter of all time. In an era that was dominated by LeBron again. And remember, LeBron's been to 10 NBA Finals. He has lost to Steph Curry 3 times in his 6 losses. Now, argument again, I can hear you through the radio. He did have 2 with Kevin Durant. Yes, but in a LeBron-dominated era, he's won 4 titles, 2 without KD. And didn't it feel to you that almost all was forgiven when Steph Curry won that 4th one against Boston? When everybody gave Steph Curry and the Warriors no shot of making the finals that year? I know I didn't. Top 5? Or does he belong in the GOAT debate? I think this era, once he decides to leave, I think this era who watched him is probably going to make the argument that he probably belongs because he's changed the entire way people from LA Fitness to the NBA play the game of basketball. You can argue he's made the three-point shot almost more exciting than the dunk in the NBA, which you never would have thought would have been possible. But before I get to who I believe could be in that GOAT debate, if we're to add on a couple of more names, Shaq and Kenny Smith on Inside the NBA, I believe last year, had this discussion, and here's who Kenny Smith believes is in that short list of who belongs in the GOAT debate.
That pool is very thin.
Who's in it?
Michael Jordan.
Got it.
LeBron James.
Yes.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes.
And then we start reaching.
No, you don't reach. Mr. Bean?
Who?
Mr. Kobe Bean's not in that conversation?
He's right.
No,
he's
no.
next. Then we start reaching.
No.
Yeah, we start reaching after.
Kobe Bean, and I'm saying I think I put Steph Curry in that conversation.
I'm just saying, to me, that's the pool to me. Kareem, LeBron, Michael.
Kareem, LeBron, and Mike. Now, Kareem, it seems to me, really gets lost in the shuffle when it comes to who is the GOAT. And I think a lot of that probably is due to the fact that a lot of guys who are saying Kobe, LeBron, and Michael are probably born 1995 and later. Anthony, you were born
89.
Okay, so you watched Jordan.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
So you've seen all three.
Yes, yeah.
So here's the thing. When it comes to guys such as LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, I think you're going to look at a guy like Michael and you're going to say, here's a guy who doesn't know how it feels to lose in an NBA Finals. He left for a year and a half to go play baseball, whether that was because of gambling.
I remember that, yeah.
But I'll leave it to you, Anthony, before I get into a couple of my guys.
So your question is
the GOAT for you. Who's the GOAT?
Oh man, see, I'm MJ. I'm MJ all the way. It's championships, bro. He's a winner. Like when it counts.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Anthony. So if MJ's number one, we've always argued who's number two between Kobe and LeBron. I'm not here to get into that. I'm just here to get into who is the guys who belong in that. One, I'll probably say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, look, it took a man 20 years. He had to play in the league for 20 years to break the all-time scoring record. Kobe played 20 years. Kobe was only able to get up to number 3. Shows you how long the dominance was of one Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, I think there can also be an argument that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest center of all time. Not most dominant. Let's not get those two confused. I think people believe that's only a two-man race between Shaq and Wilt. But I don't know how Kareem is not viewed as dominant when he has the most dominant shot of all time, right? The sky hook. Nobody has even tried to duplicate that yet. We've seen people try to do the Magic Johnson baby sky hook for years. The sky hook, never been duplicated. 6 regular season MVPs. Believe 6 NBA championship rings. 11-time all-defensive player. Led the league in blocks twice. Believe 15, 19-time all-star. I believe he should belong in this. He should be a guy that I believe falls by the wayside a lot of times because maybe his game just wasn't the most flashy. Right? Another guy I'll add is Magic Johnson. Magic, I believe there are so many guys in the NBA that have tried to duplicate this guy. I understand we really try to say who's going to be the next Jordan. Who is that next guy? But if you're also asking me, I really feel like the NBA searched for years trying to find the next Magic. This was a guy that was an anomaly in the NBA. A 6'9" point guard. Normally, if you were 6'9", you were playing the 4. Maybe even playing the 5. Here's a guy that's playing 1 through 5. Remember, he wins the NBA Finals against Philly playing center. He jumped center that year. Since Magic left the league, it seemed that he was able to open the door for so many other guys who were 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and above to say, I can take the ball off the rim, run coast to coast. And not just run coast to coast, but run an offense. Grant Hill before the injuries. Remember those great years in Detroit that he had, although short-lived? Penny Hardaway dang near gets the rub. Remember that All-Star game, the rookie-sophomore game that Penny plays? After that game is over, Magic Johnson looks into the camera, pats Penny Hardaway on the shoulder. He said, y'all been looking for the next Magic. Here he is. Seemed like Penny Hardaway was supposed to be that guy, right? Even since then, look, to a lesser degree, Lamar Odom, a 6'10" point guard. He can really bring the ball up the floor and run your offense as a guard. Orlando had another guy in Tracy McGrady. Bring the ball up, run it as a guard. I understand he had other guards such as Darrell Armstrong and stuff like that, but he was one of the big initiators of the offense. The point forward moniker is because of Magic Johnson, right? He has birthed so many individuals because of his game and because of his style of play to make him become, in my opinion, one of the guys in the GOAT debate. And there's so many others that we can argue. Can we argue Larry? Larry, Magic. Magic, Larry. You can't say one without the other. Both of them saved the league. Larry, one of the most craftiest players in NBA history. So far so to the fact that Dennis Rodman believes that if he was just another brother, he would just be another good NBA player. I disagree with that. Won regular season MVP 3 times in a row. The first member of the 50-40-90 club. I understand we talk about that now. We're so used to that now from guys like Kevin Durant. Steve Nash was doing it when he was playing in the league. He made that cool before the stat was even something that we just gushed about. But is that reaching? Who for you belongs, if it's a 3-man race in your opinion? Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan. Who's the next 3 or 4 that we should add on? I think Magic and Kareem. I think those should be the next 2. Steph Curry, maybe you can make an argument for. Maybe. I'm not against it. I just don't feel like he is. But I can see if you put up his resume and the facts that I put out by beating the face of the NBA 3 times in his career, and they say maybe he should be there with Kobe. Well, would you say he's beloved already? I would believe that's more of a beloved comment than that is saying he belongs in the GOAT debate. That he should be more beloved like a Kobe is. Those are just my opinions. I would love to hear yours. 641-1010 is the number.